So where does the, I guess if I could paraphrase, where does the rubber actually meet the road? Sounds great, Athanasius, wonderful, but I don't even know how to spell it. How does
how to spell it.
Yeah, well, you went to the University of Mississippi.
Just saying.
So how does that play out? How does it play out in the everyday?
Oh, man. I got a book that...
And I think this question can apply to both of you.
Oh, it definitely will. For one of the great things, that's a huge question, but one of the things that means a lot to me in that is that this vision of the early church tells me something about everybody that I meet, no matter where I go in the world. And that is that they are included in this relationship. And that kind of life that the Father, Son, and Spirit live is inside of them trying to come out. And each of us is blind as a bat and broken and got all our garbage that we bring to it. But that gives me hope because it means I don't have to figure out a way to convince them either intellectually or by dazzling slideshows like we do a lot of in the States. And then, because I got to keep them entertained with that, keep them coming. What I do is bear witness to the truth. And bearing witness to the truth is about who God really is, who they are, who we are. Another way of framing that is to say that the gospel to me is not the news that we can receive Jesus into our lives. The gospel is the news that Jesus has received us into his life. This is his creation.
And we want to get rid of this dualism that says, well, there are certain things that you do that are the spiritual stuff, and then there's all the rest of this stuff. We want to live in a universe, in a cosmos where everything is holy. Because guess what? It wasn't spun out from the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. It was actually created in the Son. Right? Everything is by, for, through, and in him, who is the creator. That means everything has this contingent relationship. Because if you're spun outside of that relationship, you don't exist anymore. You would lapse into non-being. And that means that everything matters. So now the question is, so what is the Holy Spirit telling you to do? Not to solve all the big questions of social justice and all that. Not that all of those don't need to be addressed, but they're going to be addressed inside the context of your relationship and your relationships. And so in the course of that, I get to live inside the grace of one day and do what's in front of me. And as opportunity arises, I will hear what the Spirit wants me to participate in, and I will have the freedom not to participate in the things that he does not want me to participate in. Does that make sense to you? So it's one thing to say, yes, let's have a conversation about these issues. And, Mother Teresa, she was asked one time, look, of all the people on the planet, you probably see man's inhumanity to man in one of the most clearest senses. How do you deal with that? And she said, it's simple. I do what's in front of me, right? And I see some of this. I get to travel around. I was with a group of guys who are working with Congo right now, and they were just with a group of women, 100 of them, who needed reconstructive surgery because they were tied to trees and raped all day long. And the right response to that is fury. The response of love is fury. I understand the wrath of God because I'm a father. And I would like to burn out of my children everything that keeps them from being free. Not because they've disappointed me at all. It's because I love them. And if we have an imagination of God in which God is less of a father or a mother than we are, our imagination of God's wrong. Because the way we love our children is the closest. And that's why I used that scenario for the shack, because it asks the best questions, because it's the greatest loss. The loss between a parent and a child.